Now we're going to go ahead and get started with our second finalist for today, Weaving Food Web's Community Garden with Katie Lavaglia and Jorge Trujillo. At this time, you can go ahead and share your screen and start your presentation.
Hi all, we are here to present our idea, Weaving Food Webs, Cultivating Community.
Somos de la comida, creciendo juntos.
My name is Katie Lavaglia. I have my Master's of Science in the Agricultural, Environmental, and Sustainability program at UTRGV, and I am now the Education Coordinator at the Texas Center for Local Food nonprofit.
I'm Jorge Trujillo. I have a UTRGV Master's of Science in Biology degree, and I'm a current faculty lecturer at the UTRGV Biology Department. Weaving Food Webs was inspired by our own yard transformation into a neighborhood food hub. In the year 2020, the economic impact of COVID-19 doubled food insecurity globally. At the end of 2020, 265 million people now face hunger. The problem, communities within the RGV are experiencing massive health disparities like diabetes and obesity due to environmental racism. Our solution, creating a centralized, community-driven nonprofit that will help people grow food and increase food security, sovereignty, and sustainability. Did you know that 1 in 7 Texans experience food insecurity? The data is clear. Hidalgo County has 21% of its population in a low-income, low-access area with an alarming poverty rate. We have more fast food restaurants per people than we do grocery stores, creating food deserts.
This is where Weaving Food Webs comes in. We are designed to outreach to landowners and tenants that reside on resource-expensive lawns, where we will share tools and trainings to sow seeds and plant food. By offering knowledge, connection, and support, we will co-create prosperous food systems in our very own yard and increase food security, sovereignty, and sustainability. Participants will engage in a community platform where they can organize seed exchanges and strategy sessions for the next growing season, and the web continues to weave. There are so many potential customers that would benefit from our services. A particular project we have in mind is teaming up with UTRGV to offer student housing scholarships for food insecure students to reside on the homes that we transform. We intend to collaborate with other organizations that are doing similar work. However, we are going to learn from our competitors by centralizing our community and offering consistent and inclusive services.
Weaving Food Webs is powered by the resourcefulness and care for our community. However, irrigation, tools, and equipment costs money. In order for our services to be accessible to every member of the community, regardless of their economic status, we will implement a pay-what-you-can scale. Weaving Food Webs, if they receive the funding from the Big Idea competition, we can begin weaving food webs in the Rio Grande Valley. Weave with us.
And we're happy to take any questions now.
The first site is not working. I try to get on it. Weaving Food Webs. Is it operational?
Oh, I actually probably just wrote the wrong website right now. Sorry about that.
Okay.
We have a Square site.
Okay.
How do you plan to get this distributed or used across the world?
We intend to use the Rio Grande Valley as our community service, and we'll create like a framework that works well for us that we can offer for other communities. For us, it's really important that it can't just be replicated anywhere, that the centralization of that community and its specific unique properties needs to be at the core of this kind of work. And that's kind of what sets us apart. This is going to be a valley-wide offering, and hopefully it will inspire other movements for organizations to use a similar framework to offer their own specific offerings.
Where are you going to get the land for this?
I'm sorry, we got 2 questions at the same time.
Oh, sorry. Where are you going to get the land for this farm?
It's not a farm at any one specific location. Part of our customer base is people that experience housing insecurity. So we're going to connect with tenants and landowners to help them increase their property value by offering these webbed communities of growing food. Right now, landscapes, traditional and conventional landscapes, are subjecting our communities to a wealth disparity. These monocultured lawns that use heavy fertilizers and pesticides are actually resource expensive, whereas a community-driven food web that we plan to implement would incentivize landowners to invest in our platform so that their property values can increase. So it's an incentivizing program for landowners to do this.
Can you tell me, explain a little more how you would reach out to people who need this the most?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we're starting in our direct community. So we see land that is either for rent, for long periods of time, and talk to the landowners there. And we also hope to receive some funding so that we can really engage in outreach. This is obviously a pretty new idea. So we would like to increase our interactivity with the community. One thing that we are really interested in pursuing is connecting with organizations like Lupe and going to colonias and seeing if they are interested in receiving the support and trainings as well.
Thank you.
Can you go back to the slide that I believe uses the term racism on it? I think maybe it's number 2 or so. Okay, environmental racism. That's a political statement. And I wonder if you will possibly drive people away who don't want anything to do with with racism and find that politically charged. You're offering a solution, not an analysis of the problem. So I suggest that you focus on the solution.
Thank you. Environmental racism is a political idea, and it is based on reality. Ever since the dawn of our nation, people have been forced to live in areas where resources are not adequate, pollution is increasing. In the Rio Grande Valley, an example of environmental racism that is well established and perpetuated is the lack of mobility for people to go to grocery stores. In rural areas, if you don't have a car, you will not be able to access healthy and nutritious food. And so that is something where shifts in our structure and transportation could affect. And yes, that's policy, but we're trying to affect this change at the community level, right?
Maybe you could use another term instead of racism. Something means the same thing, just not use that word. It's very politically charged. You know, environmental, I don't know what word to use, but something other than the word racism.
Any other questions?
Just a final one. Could you restate for me again, what is your value proposition? What is it that you are actually offering?
Yeah, so we have experience, passion, skills, tools that we want to be able to help help bridge the gap that folks have in preventing them from growing their own food. So we're going to step up to offer those resources and convert lawns into